I really like the kind of angle that AI has taken with sort of a recording technology degree. A big focus here is on placement in the industry. And what that means is a lot of the classes are still focused on learning theory and the basics and having a general knowledge of audio, but they're very focused on what skills do you need to know in order to get a job in the industry. We got our current chair, Alan Gallegos, who's really taken the program to the higher level.
Audio production is a subject that you really only learn by doing. It's much better to learn and make mistakes in an educational environment than to be learning on the job where dollars are at stake.
We want the students to be viable in the marketplace. Just having a piece of paper really isn't going to do it these days. You have to have that piece of paper, but you also have to have some training, some skills, and some knowledge that employers are looking for. And here at AI, we give them that skills, we give them those certifications, we give them that experience. We have the tools that they use in the industry, and they learn on them.
For new students, it is not necessary to have any music or audio production background. We assume that every student doesn't know anything about audio production or music when they start school.
The program here, we prepare for the students who could get any kind of audio and sound related jobs in the field. For instance, it could be either movies, commercials, any video related should have all the sounds into them.
Students begin by learning in the classroom. We begin by teaching the basics of audio production, how to use microphones properly, how microphones function, as well as how to use the basic programs such as Pro Tools. Students spend about the first year of their education in the classroom in computer labs.
Production management is one of the classes that I don't think could ever be replaced because of what it calls upon the students to do. They have to understand the business a little bit. They also have to understand, how to deal with clients.
The AU 280 studio recording class, after completing that class, the student should know how to run a session by themselves. After passing that class, they should be able to function as a studio engineer to run basic sessions.
With every course that we teach at the higher level, there's always like a theory side of it. There's a lot of theory, there's a lot of reading, like there would be in any college. But here we always try to, at the end of the day, take what we've learned and apply it. Originally, all we had was Studio B. And I know it seems weird, usually you'd have Studio A first. Studio B was originally a recording studio as well as a post-production facility for the video majors.
We have a Pro Tools HD2 system, which is a pretty robust system. Then we have the Control Pro Tools C24 console, which is a 24 fader console, so you can control all your faders and your mix in Pro Tools. You have a fully automatable console that you can do all your mixes, your edits, and your playback from.
Studio B is what we would consider a post-production first facility. It is designed mostly for voiceovers, small instrument recordings, and isn't designed to facilitate large bands. Studio A was designed by Walter Stork Design Group. Walter Stork Design Group is the leading studio designer in the United States. It has all of the equipment and acoustic design that you would find in a recording studio that produces hit records. It's comparable to studios that you would find in New York and Nashville and LA.
Studio A is all that, but on top of that, it has not only standard state-of-the-art equipment, but it has it all in basically an ideal recording and mix and monitoring environment. something that pretty much rivals a lot of the other local studios. And for that matter, probably any and most colleges. And I think that really gives our students, as well as our faculty and staff, a huge advantage.
In Studio A, we have the AWS 900 console, and that's kind of a hybrid console. So you can do two layers. Basically, there's a analog layer where you can mix a traditional style of mixing where it's all analog, but then there's a way where you can just mix all in Pro Tools, so it would be full digital. So you can either mix analog or you can mix digital, or you can do a hybrid mix of both. So half your mix can be in the analog realm and the other half of it can be in the digital realm. In Studio A, we have a lot of very high-end microphones. We have the TLM 149, which is a nice, really high-end Neumann microphone. We have an AKG C12 microphone, which is a classic mic. Sounds really good on guitars and vocals, and the students really love to use that mic a lot. We also have some Rhodes. We have some Shure mics and the Sennheisers, stereo ribbon microphones, the Royers. Basically, that's pretty much it, but a nice selection of microphones to do drums, guitars, vocals, bass, pretty much to handle any situation that you would probably think of. The AI facilities are definitely industry standard. That's what you'll see in the real world. You'll run the gamut of a very high-end studio that has everything you could possibly want in it to a smaller studio that has just the basics. You have access to a smaller facility, and then you have, access to a much greater, fully functional, professional studio environment. So you get the best of both worlds. Each studio requires the students to pass a certain curriculum test. So once you are to the level where you're actually taking a class in Studio B, once you pass that class, then there's a test at the end of that course where they give you a proficiency exam. You pass that proficiency exam, then you can use Studio B. Once you get to the level of Studio A, the same thing. You take the proficiency exam. As long as you pass it, then you can put time in Studio A. You got to stay focused. A lot of times people just think, oh yeah, I'm just going to be the next Kanye. It's not really about that. If you just focus on what you're doing and just, really hone your skills, be humble in your talent and what you're actually trying to get out of your education here, you will be very successful, I promise.